Most people think they know Austria. They picture waltzing in Vienna ballrooms, Mozart's birthplace covered in tourist crowds, and those picture-perfect alpine villages that look like they belong on chocolate boxes. But what if I told you there's an Austria that exists beyond the postcard fantasy? A place where you can actually live comfortably on just $700 a month, where Christmas demons roam the streets in December, and where the coffee culture is so serious it's protected by UNESCO? This isn't your typical travel guide. We're about to pull back the curtain on the Austria that locals know but rarely share with outsiders. The one where bureaucracy is an art form, where silence on Sundays is practically a religious obligation, and where a single transport pass can take you from alpine peaks to imperial palaces without breaking your budget. From the quirky social rituals that would make even Germans raise an eyebrow, to the underground food scene that puts Vienna's famous schnitzel to shame, we're going to explore what it really means to live like an Austrian, not just visit like a tourist, but actually understand the rhythms, traditions, and yes, the surprisingly affordable reality of calling this Central European gem home. So grab your coffee in an Austria that is a very serious affair, because we're about to take you on a journey through a country where ancient traditions meet modern practicality, where formality and warmth coexist in fascinating ways, and where living well doesn't require emptying your bank account. Austria sits like a cultural crossroads in the very center of Europe, and this positioning has shaped everything about the country, from its history to its surprisingly diverse regional personalities. With just 8.9 million people spread across a territory smaller than South Carolina, Austria punches well above its weight in terms of cultural influence and quality of life. The country shares borders with 8 nations, creating a unique melting pot that most people completely miss. To the west, you have Switzerland and Liechtenstein bringing alpine traditions. In that famous precision, Germany to the north contributes its organizational prowess and beer culture. The Czech Republic and Slovakia to the northeast add Slavic influences that show up in everything, from architecture to local dialects. Hungary to the east brings paprika and thermal bath culture, while Slovenia, Italy, and a tiny border with Croatia to the south infuse Mediterranean warmth into what many assume is a purely Germanic nation. This geographical sandwich has created distinct regional identities that make Austria far more complex than tourists realize. Vienna, the capital, feels like a grand imperial city where former empire grandeur meets contemporary urban life. Walk through the inner Stadt and you're literally stepping through 2,000 years of history. Roman ruins sit beneath medieval foundations, which support Baroque palaces, all nestled next to sleek, modern buildings. But venture west to Salzburg, Mozart's hometown, and you'll find a completely different vibe. This UNESCO World Heritage City maintains its Baroque charm with an almost obsessive dedication. The old town looks exactly like it did 300 years ago, and locals take pride in preserving traditions that elsewhere might be considered quaint museum pieces. Head further west to Innsbruck, nestled in the heart of the Alps, and you'll encounter Austria's adventure capital. Here, you can literally ski to work in winter and hike mountain trails during lunch breaks in summer. The lifestyle is outdoorsy, casual, and refreshingly unpretentious compared to Vienna's formal elegance. Then there's the countryside, the Austria that exists between the major cities. Here, in valleys with names most foreigners can't pronounce, you'll find communities that have maintained traditions dating back centuries. These aren't tourist attractions, they're living, breathing cultures where people still wear traditional dirndls and lederhosen to church on Sundays. Not for show, but because that's simply what you do. The Habsburg legacy permeates everything. For over 600 years, the Habsburg dynasty ruled from Vienna, creating an empire that stretched from Poland to Italy, from Hungary to Switzerland. When the empire collapsed after World War I, Austria suddenly found itself as a small, landlocked country that had to reinvent its identity. This transition from imperial power to modern nation-state created the unique Austrian character we see today: proud but not boastful, sophisticated yet approachable, formal but friendly once you crack the code. Austria declared permanent neutrality in 1955, a decision that has shaped its modern character profoundly. This neutrality isn't just political, It's cultural. Austrians have developed a talent for being diplomatic, for finding middle ground, for maintaining relationships across political and cultural divides. This shows up in daily life in countless small ways. From how conflicts are resolved in workplace meetings to how neighbors handle disputes. The landscape itself tells the story of Austria's complexity. The eastern regions are characterized by rolling hills, vineyards, and the broad Danube River Valley. This is Austria's agricultural heartland, where you'll find some of Europe's finest white wines and a more relaxed, rural lifestyle. The western two-thirds of the country are dominated by the Alps, creating dramatic scenery and a culture built around mountain life. These aren't just pretty backgrounds for tourist photos. They're working landscapes where agriculture, tourism, and tradition intersect in fascinating ways. This geographical diversity has created economic opportunities that many overlook, while tourists flock to Vienna and Salzburg. Savvy expats are discovering that smaller alpine towns offer incredible quality of life at a fraction of the cost. Towns like Graz, Austria's second largest city, combine university energy with reasonable living costs. Meanwhile, places like Linz offer industrial job opportunities, with wages that stretch much further than in Vienna. Understanding Austria's position in Europe also means recognizing its role as a gateway. The country serves as a bridge between Western and Eastern Europe, between Germanic and Latin cultures, between Protestant and Catholic traditions. This positioning has made Austrians naturally multilingual and culturally adaptable, skills that become apparent once you move beyond surface-level tourist interactions. Living like an Austrian means mastering a complex social dance that foreigners often misread entirely. On the surface, Austrians can seem formal, even cold. They don't smile at strangers. They maintain proper distances in conversations, and they follow rules with Germanic precision. But underneath this reserved exterior lies a culture that values depth over superficiality, quality over quantity, and genuine connection over small talk. The concept of Gemütlichkeit is central to understanding Austrian culture. There's no direct English translation, but it encompasses coziness, warmth, belonging, and contentment all rolled into one. It's the feeling of sitting in a traditional coffee house on a rainy afternoon, watching the world go by while savoring a meringue and apple strudel. It is the atmosphere in a Hürger wine tavern where strangers share long wooden tables, and conversations flow as freely as the new wine. It is the comfort of knowing that your local bakery will remember your regular order and ask about your family. Punctuality in Austria goes beyond simple courtesy. It's a form of respect. If you're meeting someone at 2 p.m., being there at 1:58 p.m. shows you value their time. Being fashionably late isn't fashionable. It's rude. This precision extends to daily routines in ways that might surprise newcomers. Stores close exactly at posted times, not a minute later. Train schedules are followed religiously. Even social gatherings have a structure that, once you understand it, makes perfect sense. Sunday in Austria is sacred in a way that goes beyond religious observance. It's a day of genuine rest and quiet. Most shops close except for small convenience stores at train stations. Construction work stops, and even mowing your lawn is frowned upon. This isn't just law, it's cultural consensus. Austrians use Sundays for family meals that stretch for hours, for long walks in nature, for cultural activities like museum visits or concerts. Initially, this might feel restrictive to Americans, used to 24/7 commerce, but many expats come to treasure this forced acceleration. The Austrian sense of humor is subtle and often self-deprecating. They excel at dry observations and gentle irony rather than loud jokes or sarcasm. A Viennese friend might tell you about their world-famous Viennese charm, delivered with such deadpan seriousness that you were not sure if they were joking until you noticed the slight twinkle in their eyes. This humor often involves wordplay that relies on the precision and flexibility of the German language, creating layers of meaning that reveal Austrian wit and intelligence. Recycling and environmental consciousness aren't just trends in Austria. They're deeply ingrained behaviors. Austrian households typically sort waste into 5 or more categories: general waste, paper, plastic and metals, glass further sorted by color, and organic waste. Many buildings have basement recycling rooms that look like miniature waste management facilities. Getting this wrong as a newcomer will definitely earn you stern looks from neighbors, and possibly a polite but firm correction from your building's caretaker. The Austrian relationship with nature is profound and practical. Even urban Austrians maintain strong connections to the outdoors. Vienna has more green space per capita than almost any major European city. Weekend hiking is so common that mountain rescue organizations are as well funded, and professional as urban emergency services. Austrians don't just appreciate nature aesthetically. They actively participate in it year-round through skiing, hiking, cycling, and foraging for mushrooms and wild herbs. Coffee culture in Austria deserves special mention because it has been recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Traditional Viennese coffeehouse culture isn't about grabbing a quick caffeine fix. It is about creating a third space between home and work where intellectual and social life flourishes. A proper coffeehouse serves dozens of coffee varieties, each with specific preparation methods and serving rituals. The waiter, always called Herr Ober regardless of age, brings your coffee on a silver tray with a glass of water and sometimes a small cookie. You're welcome to sit for hours reading newspapers provided by the house, playing chess, or simply observing the human theater around you. Work-life balance in Austria is taken seriously in ways that American corporate culture is only beginning to understand. The standard work week is 38.5 hours, and overtime must be compensated either with pay or time off. Vacation time typically starts at 5 weeks per year and increases with tenure. August is essentially a national vacation month when many businesses operate on reduced schedules to allow staff extended time off. This isn't seen as laziness or lack of ambition. It's viewed as necessary for maintaining productivity and mental health. Austrian social circles tend to be small but deep. Austrians prefer having a few close friends rather than large networks of acquaintances. This can make initial social integration challenging for expats. But once you're accepted into someone's inner circle, the loyalty and support are remarkable. Friendships often revolve around shared activities, hiking groups, cooking clubs, cultural events, rather than casual socializing. The concept of privacy is paramount in Austrian culture. Austrians don't typically share personal information casually, and they respect others' privacy in return. This means that your Austrian neighbor might greet you politely for months without asking personal questions, not out of unfriendliness, but out of respect for your boundaries. Once trust is established, however, these relationships can become wonderfully warm and supportive. Austrian cuisine is criminally underrated internationally, reduced in most people's minds to Wiener Schnitzel and apple strudel. While these dishes are indeed Austrian classics, the country's food culture is far richer and more regional than tourists ever experience. Understanding Austrian food culture means understanding the country's position at the crossroads of Europe, where Germanic hardness meets Italian finesse, Hungarian spice, and Slavic comfort food traditions. Let's start with schnitzel, since it's unavoidable. But let's do it right. Authentic Wiener Schnitzel is made exclusively with veal, pounded thin, coated in breadcrumbs, and fried in clarified butter until golden. The coating should be so delicate it almost floats above the meat, creating air pockets that make it incredibly light despite being fried. A proper schnitzel is served simply with a lemon wedge, maybe some boiled potatoes or cucumber salad. What tourists often get is schnitzel Wiener Art Viennese style, which uses pork or chicken and is perfectly acceptable, but not the real deal. The best schnitzel costs €15 to €20 at a good restaurant, but street food versions can be found for €6 to €8 that are surprisingly authentic. But Austria's real culinary treasure is its regional specialties that rarely make it onto tourist menus. In Styria, southeastern Austria, you'll find pumpkin seed oil so distinctive it has protected designation of origin status. This dark green oil has a nutty, complex flavor that transforms simple dishes into gourmet experiences. Local restaurants serve everything from pumpkin seed oil ice cream to salads dressed with this. Liquid gold, Tyrolean cuisine from the Western Alpine region, reflects the area's history as part of a broader Alpine cultural zone. Here you'll find hearty dishes designed to fuel mountain life: Tiroler Grustel, a hash of potatoes, meat, and onions topped with a fried egg; Schlitzgrafen stuffed pasta similar to ravioli but filled with spinach, potatoes, or cheese; and various game dishes that showcase the region's hunting culture. These aren't light foods, but after a day hiking in the Alps, you understand why locals develop such calorie-dense cuisine. Austrian dessert culture extends far beyond apple strudel, though let's acknowledge that properly made Apfelstrudel is a masterpiece. The pastry should be stretched so thin you can read through it, filled with tart apples, raisins, and just enough sugar to balance the fruit's acidity. But equally impressive is Sachertorte, Vienna's famous chocolate cake with apricot jam between layers and a glossy chocolate glaze. The Hotel Sacher and Café Demel have been feuding for over a century about whose recipe is authentic, a deliciously Austrian approach to culinary pride. Kaiserschmarrn deserves special mention as perhaps Austria's most beloved dessert, this emperor's. Mess is essentially a thick pancake torn into pieces while cooking, dusted with powdered sugar, and served with plum compote. Legend says it was created for Emperor Franz Joseph I, but locals make it for Sunday family dinners, turning the preparation into a social event where everyone gathers around the kitchen to watch the theatrical tearing and flipping process. Austrian wine culture is one of Europe's best-kept secrets. The country produces mainly white wines, with Gruner Veltliner being the signature grape that produces crisp, mineral wines perfect with the local cuisine. Austrian wines are consistently excellent quality, but remain relatively unknown internationally, making them incredible values. A bottle that would cost 40 euros in a London restaurant might cost 8 euros. In an Austrian supermarket, the Huriger tradition represents Austrian food culture at its most authentic. These wine taverns, originally places where winegrowers could sell their new wine without special licenses, have evolved into institutions where locals gather for simple, high-quality food and conversation. A typical Huriger serves cold buffet-style foods, various sausages, fresh bread, pickled vegetables, local cheeses, and spreads like Liptauer paprika spice cheese spread. The atmosphere is convivial, with long communal tables and a tradition of lingering over multiple glasses of wine while engaging in animated discussion. For budget-conscious living, understanding Austrian food shopping is crucial. Discount chains like Hofer Austria's version of Aldi and Lidl offer excellent quality at low prices. Local markets, especially Vienna's Naschmarkt or Salzburg's Grünmarkt, provide fresh, seasonal produce at reasonable costs while supporting local farmers. Many Austrians maintain small gardens or balcony herb gardens, supplementing their diet with homegrown ingredients. Austrian breakfast culture might surprise Americans accustomed to sweet morning meals. The traditional Austrian breakfast centers on fresh bread with various toppings, butter, and jam, cold cuts, soft-boiled eggs, and perhaps some cheese. Coffee is essential, but it's typically a smaller, stronger preparation than American-style coffee. Many Austrians prefer a semmel crusty roll with butter and marmalade to elaborate breakfast productions. Street food in Austria has evolved beyond traditional sausage stands. Though these remain popular and excellent, modern Austrian cities offer diverse international options while maintaining local favorites. A good bratwurst from a street vendor costs around 3 euros to 4 and represents authentic fast food culture. Many vendors take pride in their sausage sources, often working with specific butchers for decades to maintain consistency. The Austrian approach to alcohol extends beyond wine to include excellent beer culture and distinctive spirits. Each region has local breweries producing styles that reflect local tastes and ingredients. Gesser, Zipfer, and Ottakringer are popular national brands, but local breweries often produce more interesting varieties. Austrian schnapps, distilled from various fruits, represents serious craftsmanship, with small producers creating complex, aromatic spirits that serve as digestives after heavy meals. Understanding Austrian tipping culture helps navigate restaurants comfortably. Austrians typically round up bills or add 5 to 10% for good service, but the approach is more subtle than American tipping culture. You hand the total amount, including tip directly to the server and say stimmt, so that's correct to indicate they should keep the change. This isn't a rigid percentage calculation, but rather a gesture of appreciation. Austrian social dynamics operate on principles that can initially perplex foreigners, especially Americans accustomed to more immediate, surface-level friendliness. Understanding these social codes is essential for anyone hoping to build meaningful relationships in Austria, whether romantic, platonic, or professional. Austrian women often surprise foreign men with their directness and independence. Austrian society has made significant strides in gender equality, and women here are typically well-educated, professionally accomplished, and expect to be treated as equals in all aspects of life. The idea of ladies first exists, but in a respectful rather than patronizing way. Austrian women appreciate courtesy, but not condescension, and they're quite capable of speaking their minds clearly and directly. Dating culture in Austria tends to be more reserved and deliberate than what many Americans expect. Austrians don't typically engage in casual conversation with strangers, so meeting people often happens through mutual friends, shared activities, or professional connections. Online dating exists and is used, but many Austrians prefer meeting through established social networks, where some foundation of trust already exists. When Austrians do date, they tend to take it seriously. Casual dating culture exists, but many Austrians prefer getting to know someone well before pursuing romance. This doesn't mean they're uptight or overly formal. Rather, they value depth and compatibility over excitement and novelty. A first date might involve a long walk through a park followed by coffee and conversation, allowing both parties to assess genuine compatibility without the artificial atmosphere of bars or clubs. Austrian men, contrary to some stereotypes, can be quite romantic, but in subtle, thoughtful ways rather than grand gestures. They might remember your casual mention of liking a particular author and surprise you with a rare book, or plan a hiking date to a mountain hut where you can watch the sunset over the Alps. Austrian romance tends toward shared experiences and thoughtful consideration rather than expensive displays. The concept of personal space in Austria extends to romantic relationships. Austrians value independence and don't expect romantic partners to be constantly available or to merge their lives completely, maintaining separate friend groups, individual hobbies, and personal time isn't seen as distance or lack of commitment, but as healthy relationship maintenance. This can be refreshing for people tired of clingy relationship dynamics. Social circles in Austria form around shared interests rather than proximity or convenience. If you're passionate about classical music, you might join groups that attend concerts together, discuss performances, and build friendships based on this common interest. If you enjoy hiking, alpine clubs provide not only guided excursions, but also social networks of people who share your enthusiasm for mountain activities. These activity-based friendships often prove more durable than casual acquaintanceships. Austrian nightlife varies dramatically between cities and regions. Vienna offers sophisticated options, wine bars and converted cellars, rooftop cocktail lounges with views of the historic city center, and underground clubs that operate until dawn. However, Austrian nightlife typically starts later and is more conversation-focused than American club culture. People gather to talk, to see and be seen, to enjoy good drinks in attractive settings rather than to dance until exhaustion or engage in hookup culture. Salzburg's nightlife reflects its smaller size and cultural focus. Evenings might revolve around concert halls, intimate jazz clubs, or traditional beer gardens where locals gather for conversation over excellent local brews. The atmosphere tends towards sophisticated relaxation rather than high-energy partying. In smaller Austrian towns, social life often centers around local festivals, community events, and seasonal celebrations. These aren't tourist attractions, but genuine community gatherings where locals connect, catch up on news, and maintain social bonds that often last generations. Participating in these events as a foreign resident demonstrates commitment to integration and usually results in warm acceptance from locals. Austrian friendship culture emphasizes loyalty and reliability over entertainment value. Austrian friends might not call constantly or suggest exciting activities every weekend, but they'll be genuinely available during difficult times, remember important events in your life, and maintain consistent, supportive relationships over years or decades. This reliability extends to romantic relationships as well. Austrian partners tend to be dependable and consistent rather than passionate, but unpredictable. The language barrier can initially complicate social integration, but many Austrians speak excellent English and appreciate foreigners' efforts to learn German. However, deeper social integration usually requires at least conversational German skills. Austrians often switch to English to help foreign visitors, but among themselves, they naturally speak German, and joining these conversations requires language skills. Austrian social etiquette includes several unwritten rules that foreign residents learn through experience. Maintaining eye contact during conversation shows respect and attention. Interrupting someone is considered quite rude. Discussing personal finances, relationship problems, or other intimate topics requires established friendship. These aren't casual conversation subjects. Austrians also value punctuality in social situations, arriving significantly late to dinner, parties, or social gatherings without advance notice is inconsiderate. Understanding Austrian humor helps immensely in social integration. Austrian wit tends toward irony, understatement, and gentle teasing among friends. Self-deprecating humor is appreciated, while boastfulness or aggressive humor falls flat. Austrians often express affection through gentle ribbing, so learning to both give and receive this type of humor signals social integration. Regional differences affect social life significantly. Vienna's international character makes it more welcoming to foreigners and more accepting of different social styles. Rural areas might be initially more reserved but often provide warmer, more integrated community experiences once acceptance is achieved. University towns like Graz or Innsbruck offer younger, more dynamic social scenes that can be easier for foreign students or young professionals to navigate. Austria's cultural calendar extends far beyond the Mozart concerts and Christmas markets that dominate tourist brochures. The country maintains a rich tapestry of local traditions, seasonal celebrations, and regional festivals that reveal the authentic soul of Austrian culture. These events provide windows into communities that have maintained customs for centuries while adapting them to contemporary life. Krampus, celebrated on December 5th, represents Austria's most dramatically untouristy tradition. While the rest of the world associates Austria with genteel Christmas markets and silent night, Austrians are running through streets wearing terrifying demon masks, carrying chains, and playfully terrorizing anyone they encounter. Krampus, the horned devil-like creature who punishes naughty children in Alpine folklore, comes alive in elaborate parades called Krampuslauf throughout Austria and Bavaria. These aren't casual costume parties. Krampus costumes are works of art requiring months of preparation. Hand-carved wooden masks incorporate intricate details, multiple horns, protruding tongues, wild hair made from goat fur, and expressions ranging from mischievous to genuinely frightening. The costumes include heavy cowbells, chains, and for pelts that can weigh 40 to 50 pounds. Participants, called Krampus, spend the evening in character, chasing people through crowds while maintaining an athletic performance that's part theater, part endurance test. The Krampus tradition serves multiple cultural functions beyond entertainment. It provides a socially acceptable outlet for wildness and rebellion during the otherwise orderly Christmas season. Young men participants are traditionally male, though this is slowly changing, can act aggressively and dramatically without social consequences. Communities come together to create elaborate costumes and coordinate parades, maintaining craftsmanship traditions and social bonds for participants. Becoming a Krampus represents a rite of passage and community membership. But Krampus is just the beginning of Austria's hidden festival calendar. Perchtenlauf, related to Krampus but distinct, occurs throughout the winter months in various Alpine regions. Perchten are supernatural beings from pre-Christian Alpine mythology, and modern Perchtenlauf celebrations maintain elements of these ancient traditions. Beautiful Perchten Champerten wear elaborate headdresses and white clothing, blessing communities and encouraging fertility. Scary Perchten Scheikperchen drive away evil spirits. With frightening masks and aggressive behavior, these winter traditions connect modern Austrians to pre-Christian Alpine cultures while providing community bonding experiences during the darkest months of the year. Participating requires significant commitment, costume creation, physical training, and learning traditional behaviors and roots for communities. These festivals maintain cultural identity and provide economic benefits through tourism while preserving authentic traditions. Spring festivals in Austria reflect agricultural rhythms largely invisible to urban tourists. Easter traditions include elaborate decorated egg displays, but rural communities also maintain customs like Easter fires Osterfeuer, where communities gather to burn winter debris and welcome spring. These fires serve practical and symbolic purposes, clearing agricultural waste, while symbolizing renewal and community cooperation. Maypole Maybaum traditions occur throughout rural Austria, with communities competing to erect the tallest, most elaborately decorated poles. These celebrations involve significant community cooperation, felling appropriate trees, creating decorative elements, organizing the raising ceremony, and defending the pole from rival communities who might attempt to steal it before the raising. Successfully stealing another community's maypole is considered a clever prank requiring skill and teamwork, with the stolen pole typically returned after good-natured negotiation involving beer and food. Summer festivals showcase regional diversity through food, music, and craft traditions. Each region maintains distinctive celebrations reflecting local history, geography, and cultural influences. Tyrolean festivals emphasize alpine traditions with folk music, traditional clothing, and mountain sports competitions. Styrian festivals celebrate harvest traditions with pumpkin-themed events. And wine festivals, Burgenland, Austria's eastern region, maintains Hungarian-influenced traditions with different musical styles and culinary specialties. Harvest festivals throughout Austria provide authentic cultural experiences rarely seen by tourists. Wine harvest festivals, Weihnachtsfest in regions like Wachau or Burgenland involve entire communities in grape picking, processing, and celebration. These aren't tourist productions, but working celebrations where locals maintain traditional methods while creating social bonds across generations. Participating as a foreign resident demonstrates cultural integration and usually results in lasting friendships. Austrian Christmas markets Christkindlmarkt vary dramatically in authenticity and local character. Vienna's markets attract international visitors, but maintain genuine local traditions alongside tourist accommodations. Smaller cities like Salzburg or Innsbruck offer more intimate experiences, where locals actually shop for Christmas gifts and seasonal foods rather than posing for tourists. Photos. Regional markets in smaller towns provide the most authentic experiences, where vendors are local craftspeople and food producers rather than commercial operators. Traditional alpine summer festivals called Almfest celebrate mountain pasture culture when cattle are driven to high meadows for summer grazing. These festivals occur at mountain huts Almaden and involve traditional music, alpine food specialties, and celebration of pastoral traditions that remain economically important in many regions. Participating requires hiking to remote locations, but the cultural authenticity and stunning alpine settings provide unforgettable experiences. Music festivals in Austria extend far beyond classical concerts. Folk music traditions vary by region, with different instruments, song styles, and dance traditions. Brass band festivals showcase community musical traditions where local groups compete and elaborate performances combining musical skill with theatrical presentations. These events maintain traditional music forms while creating contemporary community entertainment. Religious festivals throughout Austria combine Catholic traditions with local customs, creating celebrations that reflect centuries of cultural synthesis. Corpus Christi processions involve elaborate flower carpets and community participation in decorating streets with religious and artistic displays. Assumption Day celebrations vary by region, but often include traditional foods, music, and community gatherings that maintain social bonds while observing religious traditions. Understanding and participating in these hidden festivals requires research, language skills, and cultural Sensitivity. Many events are advertised locally rather than internationally, requiring connections to local communities to learn about timing and participation requirements. However, genuine participation in authentic Austrian festivals provides cultural experiences and social connections impossible to achieve through conventional tourism. The idea of living in Austria on $700 a month might seem impossible, especially given the country's reputation as an expensive tourist destination. However, understanding how Austrians actually live, rather than how tourists spend, reveals strategies and lifestyle adjustments that make this budget not only feasible but comfortable, particularly outside major tourist centers. Housing represents the largest expense, but Austrian housing options include possibilities rarely available to short-term visitors. Student housing Studentenwohnheim isn't limited to enrolled students. Many facilities rent to young workers, interns, and foreign residents under certain age limits. These accommodations typically cost €250 to €400 monthly for a furnished room with shared kitchen and bathroom facilities. While not luxurious, they provide clean, safe housing in central locations with utilities included. Shared apartments Wohngemeinschaften, or WGs, represent another affordable housing strategy. Many Austrians, especially in expensive cities like Vienna or Salzburg, share apartments well into their 30s. A room in a shared apartment typically costs €300 to €500 monthly, depending on location and amenities. These arrangements often provide not just housing, but social integration opportunities, as Austrian flatmates can help newcomers navigate local customs, recommend services, and provide language practice. Rural housing options dramatically reduce costs while providing authentic Austrian experiences. Small apartments in towns outside major cities often rent for €400 to €600 monthly for complete units. These locations require more planning for transportation and services, but they provide access to authentic Austrian culture and natural beauty, while maintaining reasonable commuting distances to larger employment centers. Austrian transportation systems make car-free living not just possible, but practical. The Klimaticket, introduced in 2021, provides unlimited public transportation throughout Austria for €1,095 annually, about €91 monthly. This single ticket covers trains, buses, trams, and subway systems across the entire country. For budget living, this represents extraordinary value, equivalent to unlimited transportation across multiple U.S. states, for less than many single-city transportation costs. Regional transportation passes offer additional savings. Vienna's annual public transportation pass costs €365, €1 per day, providing unlimited access to one of Europe's most comprehensive urban transportation systems. Similar passes exist for other Austrian cities, typically costing €300 to €500 annually. These systems are efficient, punctual, and extensive, making car ownership unnecessary for most residents. Food costs can be managed effectively through understanding Austrian shopping patterns and seasonal availability. Discount supermarket chains like Hofer, Aldi, and Lidl provide excellent quality at low prices. A weekly grocery budget of €30 to €40 provides adequate nutrition for one person, including fresh produce, dairy, meat, and pantry staples. Austrian discount stores often feature higher quality products than equivalent American stores, reflecting different consumer expectations and regulatory standards. Local markets provide fresh, seasonal produce at competitive prices while supporting regional farmers. Buying seasonal vegetables and fruits reduces costs while improving nutrition and environmental impact. Many Austrians maintain small gardens or participate in community garden projects, supplementing grocery purchases with homegrown vegetables and herbs. Cooking at home becomes not just economical, but culturally integrative. Learning to prepare Austrian dishes using local ingredients and traditional methods provides cultural education. While maintaining budget constraints, simple Austrian meals like pasta with pumpkin seed oil, potato dishes with local vegetables, or traditional soups provide nutritious, inexpensive dining options. Austrian work culture supports budget living through various structural advantages. Standard vacation time starts at 5 weeks annually, reducing the need for expensive entertainment during limited free time. Many employers provide additional benefits like transportation subsidies, meal vouchers, or wellness programs that effectively increase income while reducing expenses. Part-time work opportunities in Austria accommodate various lifestyles, while providing adequate income. Students, freelancers, and remote workers can often manage comfortable lifestyles working fewer hours than required in higher-cost countries. Austria's social safety net provides additional security, including healthcare, unemployment benefits, and various social services that reduce individual financial risk. Free and low-cost entertainment options abound throughout Austria. Vienna alone offers hundreds of free concerts, exhibitions, and cultural events throughout the year. Many museums have free admission days, and public spaces provide entertainment venues for outdoor activities. Alpine regions offer unlimited hiking, cycling, and nature activities without entrance fees or expensive equipment requirements. Austrian library systems provide not just books, but internet access, study spaces, cultural programming, and social services that reduce entertainment and educational costs. Many libraries loan items beyond books, tools, sports equipment, musical instruments, and technology that would be expensive to purchase. Seasonal work opportunities throughout Austria provide income flexibility, while offering cultural experiences, tourism, agriculture, and seasonal festivals require temporary workers, often providing housing and meals in addition to wages. These opportunities can fund longer-term stays while providing authentic cultural integration experiences. Healthcare costs in Austria are significantly lower than American standards, while providing higher quality care. European health insurance card coverage, travel insurance, or Austrian social insurance provides comprehensive healthcare access at minimal cost. Many basic services are free, and prescription medications cost significantly less than American equivalents. Educational opportunities in Austria support budget living while providing personal development. German language classes are often subsidized or free for residents. Universities offer audit options and continuing education programs at low cost. Adult education centers Volkshochschulen provide various courses and certification programs that enhance employment prospects while maintaining affordable costs. The key to living on $700 monthly in Austria involves lifestyle adjustments that many residents find improve quality of life, reduce consumption, increased outdoor activities, emphasis on cultural rather than commercial entertainment, and integration into local communities create sustainable, satisfying lifestyles that depend less on financial resources and more on time, creativity, and social connections. Understanding seasonal cost variations helps budget planning. Winter heating costs increase expenses, but summer outdoor activities reduce entertainment costs. Tourist season affects prices in some regions, but provides employment opportunities in others. Planning expenses around these seasonal patterns maximizes budget effectiveness while taking advantage of Austria's distinct seasonal offerings. Austria's transportation system represents one of Europe's most comprehensive and efficient networks, making the country remarkably accessible for residents and visitors alike. Understanding this system is crucial for anyone considering living in Austria, as it fundamentally changes the economics and lifestyle possibilities compared to car-dependent societies. The Austrian Federal Railways BB operates one of the world's most punctual and comprehensive rail networks with a 94% punctuality rate. Austrian trains connect virtually every populated area in the country through a combination of high-speed intercity services, regional trains, and local connections. The Railjet, Austria's flagship high-speed service, connects Vienna to major cities like Salzburg, Innsbruck, and Graz in comfort that rivals first-class air travel at a fraction of the cost. What makes Austrian rail travel particularly attractive is its integration with other transportation modes. Train stations aren't isolated facilities, but transportation hubs connected to local bus networks, bicycle rental systems, and urban public transportation. This integration means you can travel from a remote alpine village to Vienna's city center using a single ticket that coordinates multiple transportation methods seamlessly. The pricing structure of Austrian public transportation reflects social priorities that prioritize accessibility over profit maximization. Regional transportation passes offer additional value for residents. Vienna's annual pass costs just €365, exactly €1 per day, for unlimited access to U-Bahn subway, S-Bahn suburban trains, trams, and buses throughout the metropolitan area. Similar passes exist for other Austrian cities, typically costing €300 to €500 annually. These systems operate on honor systems with random inspections, reflecting Austrian social trust and civic responsibility. Austrian urban transportation design prioritizes efficiency and coverage over speed or comfort. Vienna's public transportation system includes 5 U-Bahn lines, extensive tram networks dating to the late 19th century, and comprehensive bus coverage that ensures no area is more than 300 meters from public transportation. The system operates from approximately 5 a.m. to midnight daily, with extended weekend service and night bus networks for late-night transportation needs. Cycling infrastructure in Austria has evolved dramatically in recent years, transforming from recreational paths to comprehensive transportation networks. Vienna's cycling network encompasses over 1,600 kilometers of dedicated cycling paths, bike lanes, and shared roadways. The city provides over 120,000 bicycle parking spaces and continues expanding infrastructure to encourage cycling for daily transportation rather than just recreation. Bike sharing systems in major Austrian cities provide convenient, affordable transportation for short trips. Vienna's city bike system offers over 100 stations throughout the city, with the first are free and subsequent hours costing minimal fees. These systems integrate with public transportation passes, creating seamless multimodal transportation options. Long-distance cycling in Austria benefits from extensive infrastructure that connects cities, regions, and neighboring countries through dedicated cycling routes. The Danube cycle path Donau-Radweg stretches over 300 kilometers through Austria, providing safe, scenic cycling between major cities while passing through cultural and natural attractions. Similar routes exist throughout the country, many following former railway lines converted to cycling and walking paths. Austrian transportation policy actively discourages car dependency. Through various mechanisms, parking in city centers is expensive and time-limited. Many urban areas implement car-free zones or restrict vehicle access during certain hours. Gasoline prices remain high by American standards, and vehicle registration costs reflect environmental impact assessments that make car ownership expensive relative to public transportation alternatives. However, car ownership becomes more practical and necessary in rural areas where public transportation operates less frequently. Car-sharing programs and rental services provide occasional access without full ownership costs for urban residents who need vehicles for specific trips or rural exploration. These services integrate with public transportation networks, allowing users to take trains to rural areas and rent vehicles for local exploration. Regional transportation varies significantly throughout Austria, reflecting geography and population density. Alpine regions operate cable cars and mountain railways that serve both transportation and recreation functions. These systems provide year-round access to mountain communities while supporting tourism infrastructure. Rural bus networks connect small villages to regional centers, though service frequency may be limited compared to urban areas. Austrian transportation integration with neighboring countries creates opportunities for affordable international travel. Direct train service connects Austria to all neighboring countries: Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Slovenia, Hungary, Slovakia, and Czech Republic. These international connections often cost less than domestic flights while providing scenic routes and city center to city center convenience. Specialized transportation services reflect Austrian social priorities. Most public transportation systems accommodate wheelchairs and mobility devices. Many stations include elevators, tactile guidance systems for visually impaired passengers, and audio announcements. Transportation for elderly and disabled residents receives subsidies that ensure accessibility. Regardless of financial circumstances, freight transportation in Austria emphasizes environmental sustainability through rail-based systems that reduce truck traffic on Alpine roads. This policy creates cleaner air, less noise pollution, and safer roads while maintaining economic competitiveness. The Brenner-based tunnel, currently under construction between Austria and Italy, will further enhance freight rail capacity while reducing environmental impact. Seasonal transportation considerations affect planning and costs. Winter conditions require different strategies. Public transportation remains reliable, but hiking and cycling become more challenging. Ski area transportation operates during winter months, providing access to alpine recreation. Summer brings expanded hiking bus routes and special transportation to outdoor recreation areas. Understanding Austrian transportation etiquette helps integration and efficiency. Passengers typically move to the center of vehicles to allow easier boarding and exiting. Priority seating for elderly, disabled, and pregnant passengers is respected and enforced socially. Eating strong-smelling foods or playing loud music is discouraged. Bicycles on trains require special tickets and designated spaces. Transportation apps and digital services enhance system usability. The BB app provides real-time scheduling, ticket purchasing, and journey planning across Austria's transportation network. City-specific apps offer local public transportation information, bike-sharing access, and parking availability. These digital tools make navigation easier for newcomers, while providing Austrians with convenient access to transportation services. Austria's natural landscape provides some of Europe's most dramatic scenery, while remaining surprisingly accessible to budget-conscious travelers and residents. Understanding how to access and enjoy Austria's outdoor offerings without expensive guided tours or luxury accommodations opens up possibilities for affordable adventure and daily recreation that contribute significantly to quality of life. The Austrian Alps dominate two-thirds of the country, creating opportunities for hiking, skiing, mountaineering, and nature photography that rival Switzerland's offerings at a fraction of the cost. Unlike Switzerland, where many mountain areas require expensive cable car tickets or resort fees, Austria maintains extensive networks of hiking trails, mountain huts, and public access areas that provide world-class alpine experiences. For the cost of transportation and basic accommodation, Austria's Alpine Hut Alm Hut system represents one of Europe's most remarkable outdoor infrastructure networks. Over 500 mountain huts provide accommodation, meals, and emergency shelter throughout Austria's mountain regions. These aren't luxury facilities, but basic accommodations that allow multi-day hiking adventures. Without carrying camping equipment, a night in a mountain hut typically costs €15 to €25 for dormitory-style accommodation, with simple meals available for €8 to $15. Many huts operate seasonally, typically June through September, providing employment opportunities for people seeking temporary work in spectacular natural settings. Hiking in Austria requires minimal equipment and expense, but offers unlimited exploration opportunities. The Austrian Alpine Club maintains over 50,000 kilometers of marked trails, ranging from easy valley walks to challenging high-altitude routes. Trail markers follow standardized systems that indicate difficulty, estimated times, and destination information in multiple languages. Many trails connect mountain huts, allowing hikers to plan multi-day adventures without returning to valley accommodations. Free hiking maps and information are available from tourist offices, alpine clubs, and online resources. These materials provide detailed route descriptions, elevation profiles, safety information, and current conditions. Unlike many countries where detailed topographic maps are expensive, Austria provides comprehensive hiking information as public service, reflecting cultural priorities that encourage outdoor recreation for all economic levels. Winter sports in Austria extend far beyond expensive ski resorts frequented by international tourists. Cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, and winter hiking provide affordable winter recreation throughout the country. Many communities maintain free or low-cost cross-country skiing trails, and equipment rental costs significantly less than alpine skiing. Winter hiking on cleared trails offers spectacular snow-covered mountain scenery without any equipment costs beyond appropriate. Clothing and footwear, public ski areas, and small regional ski hills provide alpine skiing opportunities at prices significantly lower than famous resort areas. A day pass at a regional ski area might cost €25 to 35 compared to €50 to 70 at internationally known resorts. Equipment rental at these smaller facilities costs proportionally less while often providing more personalized service and instruction opportunities. Austria's lake regions offer summer recreation opportunities that many visitors overlook. While focusing on mountain attractions, Lake Wolfgangsee, Holstetersee, and dozens of smaller alpine lakes provide swimming, hiking, and scenic beauty without entrance fees or expensive infrastructure. Many lakes have public access areas with basic facilities that allow full-day recreation for the cost of transportation and packed meals. Cycling throughout Austria takes advantage of extensive infrastructure developed for both transportation and recreation. Long-distance cycling routes like the Danube Cycle Path provide multi-day adventures through varied landscapes while passing through historic cities and cultural attractions. Bicycle rental costs €15 to 25 daily, and many routes offer luggage transport services between accommodations for cyclists who prefer not to carry equipment. Urban natural areas in Austrian cities provide daily recreation opportunities that enhance quality of life while reducing entertainment expenses. Vienna's Prater Park encompasses over 6 square kilometers of meadows, forests, and recreational facilities including free running and walking paths. The Vienna Woods Wienerwald begin at the city's edge, providing extensive hiking and nature experiences accessible by public transportation. Foraging traditions in Austria allow legal gathering of mushrooms, berries, and herbs in designated areas. Understanding these regulations and seasonal availability provides both recreational activities and food supplementation for budget-conscious residents. Many Austrians maintain traditional knowledge about edible plants and seasonal harvesting that connects them to natural cycles while reducing food costs. Photography opportunities throughout Austria's natural areas provide creative outlets and potential income sources for skilled photographers. The dramatic landscapes, seasonal changes, and wildlife offer unlimited subject matter. Many local publications, tourism organizations, and commercial enterprises require photography services, creating income opportunities for photographers who understand local markets and seasonal demands. Seasonal festivals throughout Austria often take place in natural settings that combine cultural experiences with outdoor recreation. Summer alpine festivals, harvest celebrations in vineyard regions, and winter solstice events provide authentic cultural experiences in spectacular natural locations. These events typically cost less than urban entertainment while offering unique combinations of culture, nature, and social interaction. Wildlife observation in Austria includes opportunities to see red deer, chamois, golden eagles, and other alpine species in their natural habitats. Many areas maintain wildlife viewing areas and information centers that provide education and observation opportunities without disturbing natural behaviors. Understanding animal behavior patterns and seasonal movements enhances hiking and photography experiences while contributing to conservation awareness. Geological attractions throughout Austria reflect the country's position in the European Alps Formation Zone. Caves, gorges, waterfalls, and unique rock formations provide natural entertainment and education opportunities. Many geological sites have minimal entrance fees or are freely accessible, offering family-friendly activities that combine education with recreation. Environmental volunteer opportunities throughout Austria provide meaningful work experiences, while contributing to conservation efforts, trail maintenance, habitat restoration, wildlife monitoring, and environmental education programs often provide training, accommodation, and small stipends, while allowing participants to work in spectacular natural settings with like-minded individuals. Understanding seasonal patterns enhances outdoor recreation planning and safety. Spring brings wildflower blooms and avalanche risks at higher elevations, Summer provides optimal hiking conditions, but also peak tourist crowds at popular destinations. Autumn offers spectacular colors and comfortable temperatures but variable weather. Winter creates different recreational opportunities while requiring appropriate equipment. In safety knowledge, Austria consistently ranks among the world's safest countries, with crime rates that make daily life remarkably secure and stress-free. According to the 2023 Global Peace Index, Austria ranked 5th globally for safety, creating an environment where residents can focus on personal development, career advancement, and cultural exploration rather than personal security concerns. Violent crime in Austria is exceptionally rare, particularly outside major cities. The homicide rate is among Europe's lowest, and random violence against strangers is almost unheard of. Even petty crime remains manageable and predictable, primarily pickpocketing in tourist areas and bicycle theft in urban centers. These crimes are more annoying than dangerous and usually preventable through basic awareness and precautionary measures. Austrian law enforcement operates on community policing principles that emphasize prevention, cooperation, and public service rather than aggressive enforcement. Police officers are generally well-educated, multilingual, and trained in de-escalation techniques. They're typically approachable and helpful to foreign residents who need assistance navigating legal requirements, reporting incidents, or understanding local regulations. The Austrian healthcare system represents one of Europe's most comprehensive and efficient medical systems. Over 99% of Austrian residents have health insurance coverage through a combination of public insurance, employer-provided plans, and private supplemental insurance. The system operates on social insurance principles where healthcare is considered a public service rather than a commercial commodity. Public health insurance in Austria Sozialversicherung provides comprehensive coverage including preventive care, specialist consultations, hospitalization, prescription medications, and dental care. Monthly premiums are automatically deducted from salaries, typically representing about 7.65% of gross income up to a maximum threshold. This system ensures that healthcare costs remain predictable and affordable regardless of health status or medical needs. Austrian medical facilities maintain high standards throughout the country, not just in major cities. Rural areas have well-equipped regional hospitals, specialist clinics, and emergency services that provide advanced medical care close to where people live and work. Emergency response times are excellent even in mountainous regions, with helicopter rescue services available for serious medical emergencies in remote areas. Prescription medication costs in Austria are significantly lower than American prices, while maintain high quality and availability. Most medications require modest co-payments, typically €5 to €10 per prescription, regardless of the medication's actual cost. Generic medications are widely available and encouraged, further reducing costs while maintaining treatment effectiveness. Mental health care in Austria is integrated into the general healthcare system without stigma or discrimination. Psychological counseling, psychiatric treatment, and addiction services are covered by standard health insurance. The Austrian approach to mental health emphasizes early intervention, community support, and integration with primary health care rather than crisis intervention after problems become severe. Dental care in Austria combines public insurance coverage with private practice options that provide comprehensive care at reasonable costs. Basic dental treatment is covered by public insurance, while cosmetic and advanced procedures are available through private practitioners at costs significantly lower than American standards. Preventive dental care is encouraged and covered, reducing long-term dental problems and costs. Austrian workplace safety standards are among the world's most comprehensive, reducing occupational injury rates and ensuring safe working conditions across industries. Employers are legally required to provide safety training, appropriate equipment, and regular health monitoring for employees in various occupations. These standards contribute to Austria's overall safety profile while protecting workers' long-term health and earning capacity. Environmental health in Austria benefits from strict regulations on air quality, water purity, and food safety that create one of Europe's cleanest living environments. Austrian tap water is consistently safe and often higher quality than bottled water. Air quality in most areas exceeds international standards, contributing to respiratory health and overall quality of life. Austrian social services provide safety nets that reduce individual financial and social risks. Unemployment benefits, disability support, family assistance, and elderly care programs ensure that temporary setbacks or life changes don't result in poverty or social isolation. These systems allow individuals to take career risks, pursue education, or start businesses without fear of catastrophic consequences. The Austrian education system contributes to social stability and individual opportunities through accessible, high-quality education at all levels. Primary and secondary education are free and comprehensive, while university education is available at minimal cost even for international students. Adult education and vocational training programs provide opportunities for career development and skill acquisition throughout life. Consumer protection laws in Austria are comprehensive and effectively enforced, creating marketplace safety for residents and visitors. Warranty requirements, return policies, and fraud protection ensure that commercial transactions are fair and predictable. Banking regulations protect deposits and prevent predatory lending practices that could threaten individual financial security. Austrian civil liberties and legal protections create an environment where residents can express opinions, practice religions, and live personal lives without government interference or social persecution. The legal system operates on transparent principles with effective appeals processes and legal aid availability for those who cannot afford private legal representation. Housing regulations in Austria protect tenants from exploitation while ensuring housing quality and availability. Rent control laws, tenant rights, and housing assistance programs prevent homelessness and housing insecurity while maintaining affordable housing options in expensive urban areas. These protections reduce one of the major sources of economic stress in many countries. Road conditions are excellent throughout the country. Public transportation operates with remarkable safety records, and emergency services are well coordinated and effectively deployed. These factors reduce accident risks while ensuring rapid response when incidents do occur. Food safety regulations in Austria are stringent and effectively monitored, ensuring that restaurants, food producers, and retailers maintain high standards that protect public health. Regular inspections, traceability requirements, and strict penalties for violations create food security that allows residents to eat confidently at restaurants, markets, and commercial establishments. Austrian disaster preparedness and emergency response systems provide security against natural disasters, severe weather, and other emergencies. Early warning systems, evacuation procedures, and emergency supplies distribution ensure community safety during floods, avalanches, severe storms, or other natural events that occur in mountainous terrain. The integration of these safety, healthcare, and quality of life factors creates an environment where residents can focus on personal goals, career development, and cultural exploration rather than basic survival and security concerns. This foundation enables the lifestyle advantages that make Austria attractive to international residents while maintaining the social stability that Austrians value. Navigating Austrian bureaucracy and legal requirements requires patience and attention to detail, but understanding the system enables foreign residents to establish secure, long-term lives in Austria while taking advantage of the country's excellent quality of life and social benefits. Austria doesn't offer a specific digital nomad visa, but several residence permit categories accommodate remote workers, freelancers, and entrepreneurs who want to establish Austrian residency. The key is understanding which category fits your situation and long-term goals while meeting Austria has requirements for financial stability and social integration. EU, EEA, and Swiss citizens have the right to live and work in Austria without additional permissions, making relocation relatively straightforward. These citizens can simply move to Austria, register their residence with local authorities, and begin working or establishing businesses. However, they still need to navigate Austrian bureaucracy for housing, healthcare, banking, and other essential services. Non-EU citizens face more complex requirements, but still have viable pathways to Austrian residency. The red-white-red card system provides several categories for different types of residents: skilled workers, graduates of Austrian universities, self-employed individuals, and investors. Each category has specific requirements for education, work experience, German language skills, and financial resources. The job seeker visa allows qualified individuals to enter Austria for up to 6 months. To search for employment, applicants need university degrees, relevant work experience, and sufficient financial resources to support themselves during the job search period. This visa can lead to work permits and eventual permanent residence for those who find suitable employment. Austrian work permits are tied to specific jobs with specific employers, creating initial limitations, but providing pathways to more flexible residence status over time. After 5 years of continuous legal residence, individuals can apply for permanent residence TU, which provides much greater flexibility in employment and travel while maintaining Austrian social benefits. Self-employed residence permits accommodate freelancers, consultants, and small business owners who can demonstrate financial viability and meet specific requirements. These permits require business plans, financial guarantees, and often professional qualifications relevant to the intended business activity. Self-employed residents have greater flexibility, but also greater responsibility for their own social insurance and tax obligations. Student visas provide another pathway to Austrian residence, particularly attractive given Austria's low university fees and high education quality. International students pay approximately €726 per semester at Austrian universities, compared to thousands of dollars per semester in many other countries, making Austrian education extremely cost-effective for EU and non-EU students alike. German language requirements vary by residence permit category, but are eventually necessary for most long-term residence pathways. A1 level German basic conversational ability is required for many initial permits, while B1 or B2 levels are required for permanent residence and citizenship applications. Free or subsidized German courses are available through integration programs, adult education centers, and various organizations. Austrian integration requirements include completing integration courses that combine German language instruction with cultural orientation and practical information about Austrian society, legal requirements, and civic responsibilities. These courses serve both bureaucratic requirements and practical needs for successful integration into Austrian society. Banking in Austria requires establishing relationships with Austrian financial institutions, which can be challenging initially but becomes straightforward once residence is established. Austrian banks offer comprehensive services including checking accounts, savings accounts, investment services, and mortgage lending. Online banking is sophisticated and widely used, reducing the need for frequent branch visits. Austrian tax obligations depend on residence status and income sources. Residents are generally taxed on worldwide income, while non-residents are taxed only on Austrian source income. The Austrian tax system is progressive, with rates ranging from 20% to 55% depending on income levels. Various deductions and allowances are available, and professional tax advice is often worthwhile for complex situations. Social insurance in Austria is comprehensive and largely mandatory for residents. The system includes health insurance, accident insurance, unemployment insurance, and pension contributions. While contributions are significant, typically 18 to 22% of gross salaries split between employer and employee, the benefits provide comprehensive social protection that reduces individual financial risks. Housing registration Meldezettel is legally required within 3 days of moving to new accommodation in Austria. This registration serves multiple purposes, enabling access to social services, fulfilling tax obligations, and providing official documentation of residence. The process is straightforward but must be completed promptly to avoid legal complications. Austrian citizenship is available after 10 years of legal residence, 6 years in some cases, and requires demonstrated German language ability B2 level, integration course completion, clean criminal record, and sufficient financial stability. Austrian citizenship provides EU passport benefits, voting rights, and complete security of residence while requiring renunciation of previous citizenship. In most cases, professional recognition for foreign qualifications varies by occupation and country of origin. Some professions, medicine, law, engineering, require specific recognition procedures and additional training or examinations. Others are more straightforward to transfer. Professional associations and government agencies provide guidance for specific occupations and qualifications. Austrian bureaucracy operates on principles of thoroughness and legal precision rather than speed or convenience. Appointments are often required for various services. Documentation requirements are specific and comprehensive, and processing times can be lengthy. However, the system is generally fair, transparent, and predictable once you understand the requirements and procedures. Legal assistance for immigration and residence matters is available through various sources. Immigration lawyers, legal aid organizations, and government information services. While not always required, professional legal advice can prevent costly mistakes and ensure compliance with complex requirements. Regional differences in Austria affect both lifestyle choices and bureaucratic procedures. Vienna offers the most international environment and comprehensive services, but also the highest costs. Salzburg provides cultural richness in a smaller city setting. Alpine regions offer spectacular natural environments, but may have fewer international services and job opportunities. Understanding these regional differences helps in choosing locations that match personal preferences and professional requirements. Long-term planning for Austrian residents involves understanding pathways to permanent residence and citizenship while building careers, social connections, and cultural integration that create sustainable, satisfying lives. Austria rewards patience, persistence, and genuine commitment to integration with remarkable quality of life, social security, and opportunities for personal and professional development. After exploring Austria's hidden traditions, practical realities, and cultural depths, it becomes clear that the country most tourists experience represents only a beautiful but superficial layer of a much richer society. The Austria where you can live comfortably on $700 a month, where Christmas demons run through December streets, where coffee culture is taken so seriously it's UNESCO-protected, and where precision and warmth coexist in fascinating harmony. This is the Austria that reveals itself only to those who stay long enough to understand its rhythms. Living in Austria means accepting that things move at their own pace, that relationships develop slowly but deeply, and that quality of life isn't measured by constant entertainment or material accumulation, but by security, beauty, cultural richness, and genuine human connections. It means learning to appreciate the subtle humor that emerges once you understand the language and cultural references. It means discovering that formality isn't coldness, but respect, and that beneath Austrian reserve lies remarkable loyalty and warmth. The Austria beyond the postcards includes struggling with bureaucracy. That would make Germans impatient, learning to shop for groceries before everything closes on Sunday, and gradually realizing that the slower pace and social structures create space for things that matter, long conversations over coffee that extends into afternoon walks, friendships that develop around shared interests rather than convenience, and a relationship with nature that goes beyond weekend recreation to become part of daily life. This is an Austria where you might find yourself arguing about the authentic recipe for sacerdote with your neighbor, where you'll eventually participate in local festivals not as a tourist, but as a community member, where you'll understand why Austrians take vacation time so seriously, and why work-life balance isn't just a concept but a lived reality supported by laws, culture, and social expectations. The hidden Austria rewards patience, curiosity, and genuine interest in understanding rather than just experiencing. It offers a lifestyle that many people spend their entire lives seeking: security without boredom, beauty without superficiality, tradition without stagnation, and community without conformity. It's a place where you can build a life that balances personal development with social responsibility, individual achievement with community contribution. For those willing to navigate the initial challenges of language learning, bureaucratic procedures, and cultural adaptation, Austria offers something increasingly rare in the modern world, a society that actually functions. Well, where systems work as intended, where social contracts are honored, and where quality of life is a genuine priority rather than just a marketing slogan. Whether you're drawn by the affordable living costs, the cultural richness, the natural beauty, or the social stability, Austria rewards those who approach it with respect, patience, and genuine interest in becoming part of its ongoing story, rather than just passing through as observers. The Austria most tourists never see is waiting for those ready to become more than tourists. This is your invitation to move beyond the surface, to consider what it means to actually live somewhere rather than just visit, and to discover whether the hidden Austria might be the life you've been looking for without knowing it existed. If you found this exploration of authentic Austrian life intriguing, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments which aspect of living in Austria surprised you most. Should we cover more hidden European lifestyles? Or would you like us to go deeper into specific aspects of Austrian culture? Your engagement helps us create content that reveals the realities behind the travel brochures, showing what life actually looks like for those brave enough to make these places home.